right again. The reason the episode is so named is we have reinstalled Interstellar Adventure successfully. So we're going to have a lot more mods and a lot more planets. So we're going to go back to the Twitch campaign. First thing I want to do is look up at the sky or something. After recovering these, alright, let's go over to this flag. And the question is now, are the stars truly right? So there's Craval. I just don't know on the side right now. Spin it around. Away. Yes, the stars are right. There's the nice red demon star, as I like to call it. Alright, epic. Back to space. I am feeling ambitious today, but first things first. We have some repairs to the station design we launched last night that we need to do. We also need to apparently fix input box of some weird kind. Looks like one of the launch struts didn't properly recover. Happens time to time. One we launched, which was mostly complete. There weren't very many changes. The first change was to get rid of the additional excess monopropellant thrusters on the rear here. These are required. because we have these instead and they're better. Another question is, where else do we need to set it to? Oh, there they are. We're good. The other thing we need to do is fix the action groups. We had one set of engines that were not on the toggle set for these. Which mode? All the solar panels are set right. I don't know if there's any other. I don't think there's any other action groups we really need for this one. We have to have a plane that will fly on atmospheric analysis readings. Well, we might as well get that one on the way. But before we do that, they've tweaked the thermal ramjets. I want to check and see if we have any performance change out of our nuclear powered and direct beam powered thermal ramjet recovery vehicles to see if they're now somewhat normal. This is one without a reactor and relies purely on beam power. I can't remember if we made the landing gear corrections on this one like we did on the reactor. We'll find out here shortly. But if there's no change in thermal power, we just want to skip to doing the Duna mission. We're going to create a special probe designed specifically for its task. Now we are full up on thermal. Yes. Much better. I think the landing gear are in fact still on. They're turned inward, causing the problem. These two kind of towed in. You don't want that on jet landing. Alright, let's revert this because we know this works now. Alright, so we're going to make some tweaks to the landing gear to get us sorted, and then we're going to try actually getting that into orbit, because I think it'll make it now. Oh, we got the large docking ports. We can upgrade it with an improved docking system. Okay, where do we want the big dock to be? We'll probably dedicate it on the belly. Get rid of the extra ports here. Oh, that's going to need a special connector. Structural element. Problem is I can't tell at this low angle whether or not. Oh, no, where's that at? There we are. Good. Move it down some. More towards the wing region. That way it doesn't fly awkward. That point of can't have it below the craft's bellies. That will look. Alright, let's get these gears fixed. Station. Just same procedure on the front here, just to make certain. Alright, should be good. Let's try it now, see how well it works. Oh wait, this is the thermal turbojet. We knew this one would get enough power. The ramjet we've been having trouble with. I'll have to check that in a moment. Come on, load up. Like I got four new different suns to consider. Don't pressure me. Not looking good, folks. Oh, grief. Come on. Burn. Belly flop. We'll say physics to processing, but this is going to be a brutal explosion. I don't think the power changes have substantially changed much. That's the one drawback to this prep. It takes a long time to cure. Just let the thermal power build up so that the rest will pick up on the nozzle here. I'll turn these into receivers and see if that helps. But I hope some. Getting the reactor up, ramjet up to speed may help a lot. No, we're going to bleed down some of this super heavy fuel that we got on. Make sure we have the airspeed necessary to get aloft. As soon as we drop the main thrusters there, we really start losing TWR. What we probably need to do is get to high altitude as soon as we can and switch over to closed cycle. Plus, being able to elevate like this is going to increase our power reception ratings much higher. Could increase the strength of this thermal ramjet. So I'm very disappointed in its performance compared to the Tory. As you can tell, we're just not generating the level of thrust we'd hoped for yet. Yeah, that ramjet's just way underpowered for what it needs to be. And that's probably going to be true for the nuclear reactor versions. We're not even going to bother testing it. We've got our confirmation. I'm going to try a resize Tori on it, though, and see what happens. I'm not going to use a thermoelectric generator on it. See if it has enough power just on the reactor alone. So this will be test recovery 2.2 Tori. There's that. Oops. We'll get rid of that too. Put that in. Put these back on. Slightly off. Whoa. Not what I needed to grab. Keep grabbing the wrong piece. This together so seamlessly, it looks like one part almost. Wow. The solution is to move the extra weight forward rather than... Wow. Okay, first off, that's not going to work. We're going to have to bring this weight all back. I'm going to replace that. And place it correctly too. So you might need to put something at this thing on here. That's about as good as she gets. First thing we need to do is move these pins in. It looks like it's detached from the body. Give a flat, sorry, in a collision. Collisions. That should clear them. Now the only real question is, will this thing have enough power and be able to generate enough power? One of the ways we can help with that is, we already got these 2 cells on here. Put a couple more of those. A couple vertical ones. Add them all to the same action group. It defaults to atmospheric, so that's good. Ramjet doesn't look like it's in any risk of hitting the ground on landing. Got plenty of clearance due to the big landing here. We probably oversling it though, but that would require redoing the alignment of everything. We have to oversling it because of the fact of positioning the bottom bays, or the bottom docking port. Alright, so we'll have to turn this off here for just a moment. This off to the side for a moment. Over. That's a really strange position for that. I have to take the wings off for a moment so we can position these correctly. Really? I totally did not mean to catch that. Thank you. Now positioning this wing just got a little trickier. Why is that weird? Hello? Hatch. Wait, right. It looks okay. Now this should be particularly interesting. Well, I know how much thrust this thing produces. Hey Doc Andy, welcome aboard. Really focused on building that craft. I know Matori quite well. One of my favorite engines. This thing will actually have a punch to it. So I'm hoping we'll actually be able to get this thing into orbit possibly using this reactor. Well, reactor slash engine. Also, we got our stars back. Interstellar Adventure has been reinstalled. We now have 4 new star systems. Let's see if I can find. Yep, there's the Demon Star, as I call it. Alrighty, let's see how well this works. Yeah, until we get better reactors on our ground station, the beam power method is simply not going to work, and the reactor method is not going to work because basically the reactor outputs are too low right now. We may have to fix our landing gear again. It looks like it's starting to lean. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh, I see. I don't see what the problem is. Alright. Landing gear are an issue. We gotta fix those. They weren't an issue before, but they are now. It's probably because I put on a new engine that's repositioned everything. That Tory is not the same exact diameter as the other engine type because of the way it's oriented. The oversling on the back here. You know what occurred to me? That would be a really good spot actually for our docking port. Oops, not what I wanted to grab. There we go. Maybe not. That might cause a lot of aerodynamic issues. We will undo that. Come on, undo it. Do that. Do the disconnect of the. Come on. All those shoots, man. It's making it work hard. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the smaller docking ports on top. They shouldn't cause so much aerodynamic stress. So that'll be our connector for our probes if we ever bring a probe up. This clampetron will be our connector for any medium-sized craft. Alright, so let's check the gear back here. They have been reoriented, so we're going to need to fix them. And we're also going to move them. I don't like them being so near to the center body. First off, there we go. Now, I want to move landing gear. Please deselect that. Select the landing gear as instructed. Thank you, and do not. You. Alright, next thing I want to do is let's reorient these. Make sure they're absolute and perfect alignment. Tweak, 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 tweak. Landing gear sync test. Let's see what hits the ground first. Good. We want that front landing gear to be elevated, so the fact it's higher is a good thing. That should fix it. That's the only thing that changed. Yeah, we're fixing that right now. Another thing, do I have an RCS controller on here? I think I do. Reaction wheel. Or SAS controller, I should say. Now here's the thing, we're not done with this craft yet. It's not meant to purely be a takeoff and landing horizontally. It's meant to be VTOL as well for moon landings. So once we've got the stable takeoff horizontal, I'm going to add gear on the back to make it land vertically. I'm going to be using the foot gear, the large base foot gear for this model body, the HXBA and the HXA and the HXB landing gear. The same that I used on the refinery. Okay, just letting the thermal ramjet warm up here. GWR should start taking off. Checking on our power usage. I think this thing produces megajoules, but I'm not sure. I'm going to give it a little bit of a boost, get it up to speed. Flying straight as an, or driving straight as an arrow now. Probably flying straight as an arrow too. Thrust is really starting to take off on that ramjet. This is working much better. Alright, excellent news. We know this model will fly, and we know that more than likely it's going to be able to hit space. So the next thing we need to do is test the landing system again and make sure that the parachutes will still land this thing in a balanced manner. We can do that though after we confirm it's going to hit orbit. Are any of you watching the Delta V run backwards? Isn't that kind of weird? Now what we're doing is we nose down so we can let the ramjet accelerate the craft and build speed, or at least it should. Odd. I guess we've still got too much atmospheric friction going on. We need to get up. Up and away. Alright. Surface speeds won't start increasing because the atmospheric density is dropping. That'll give the ramjet more and more speed. Come on, get up there. Heavy beastie. Let's give it a little bit of a kick, get it moving. I think the ramjet just finally kicked in. Speed's starting to take off. Well, it's starting to take off. There we go. Finally starting to break through the atmospheric resistance. What it looks like a good flat profile might be is off the runway, use the blue engines to punch yourself to 8,000 meters. Then switch over to the plasma. And it should be at that point high enough that the atmospheric resistance won't slow the craft as much. Then the thermal ramjet will take over, and it has a practically infinite supply of fuel. And we continue to accelerate. Good. We're nosing down ever so slightly to build more speed. The more speed that thermal ramjet gets, the more thrust it makes. But we're also getting to a higher atmosphere. As the intake air drops, so will its thrust also drop. Wish I knew the impact tolerance of these engines. They're large enough and flat enough, I could probably land on them if they had a high impact tolerance. Alright, beginning to accelerate again. starting to have trouble accelerating. Probably because the thrust on this engine is starting to drop. Still climbing though. Slowly but steadily. Alright, let's punch it, see if we can get out of here. Alright, the ramjet's just starting to outright choke. We're going to have to get some altitude here. Now, part of the problem is this craft is very boxy because of the components it uses. So the best thing you can do is, if you want it to actually serve as a space plane, is get it up above the atmosphere as much as you can, and then let the ramjet do its job. The ramjet will still keep power to quite a high altitude. And as we know, once you start getting into less and less atmospheric friction, even the littlest bit of power starts giving it a real mule kick. And as you can see, as we slowly start leaving the middle atmosphere into the stratosphere, the speed is starting to rise again. That's because a combination of the plasma, the hyperplasma, is working better, as well as the Tory ramjet. At least in pushing against the friction. How this thing does on Thomas 4, I'm kind of curious. F5. It does fine on F4. Or, does fine on a 4 times acceleration. Need to get us speed up some more. We're starting to stall. This thing really doesn't want to change direction. There's the Demon Star. Off in the distance. There's his brother. Alright. Starting to get to the point where the TWR is going to go through the roof due to the dropping fuel load. It may make orbit, but it'll be empty getting there. Uh-oh, we got stuff really starting to overheat now. Looks like it's mostly solar panels, leading edge flaps, and docking ports. There goes the 2 leading edge flaps. They don't really do a lot, so we're not a total loss there. Good timing, Andy. I don't think it's going to make it. Nope, the Kerbals are fine. Not sure about the craft, though. We lost the leading edge wing flaps. Well, there went a solar panel. That is now causing us a drag imbalance. And there went the main engine. We are out of fuel for the main cryoplasm engine. So this is not a space plane yet, but it's close. It's almost there. Okay, so we know the Tory can get close to getting it up there. What happens is that the fuel efficiency is just not great enough with the amount of drag those body parts are creating to allow it. I might be able to make a space plane that's much lighter than this one. Let's see. Where is one of those? Where's that nuclear jet? Oh, good Lord. That thing. You guys want to see something really funny? Why do I even need to ask? You got to see this. Yeah, we got three designs now for the HL recovery craft. I'm now just waiting to see which engine becomes efficient first in our tech tree to put us in orbit with it. God, I love this plane. This is just a demo simulation, not a mission, for entertainment value only. Watch the TWR on this thing. Keep in mind, it uses zero fuel. All it's using is atmosphere. It's already done 8.2 Gs flying in a straight line, people. I think we just did our speed limit. That's just due to the atmosphere. We need to dip back down into the atmosphere and speed back up. Mach 4 and climbing. I think we've hit a speed cap around 1300. Still a fun little crap though. This thing will get you around Kerbin quickly. In atmosphere. Gravity turn! Now here's the fun part. This reactor is cooled by the air flowing through it. So when you slow down, this radiator is going to get really hot. You could put this on Kerbal Exchange just for people to play with. One of the better designs I've made. It's impossible to stall this thing just about. This one uses the inline nuclear turbojet, direct cycle. I could probably replace that wing with just a tail fin and a vertical stabilizer, and it might reduce the drag enough to really get this thing moving like a missile. Not that it doesn't already move like a missile, but it'd be moving faster. Vary ×4 stable. Not a good cockpit to land by. This is why nuclear engines should have been a thing. Not seriously, one crash would strew like debris across the landscape for like halfway around the planet. I mean, imagine if one of these things broke up traveling Mach 4 at high altitude with a nuclear engine on board. Can you imagine the fallout from that? See, how's the gear on this? Looks like it's relatively flat and even. I think we need to do a tail-based landing first, though. Turning on fine controls with caps lock. Pairing braking system. We really need to slow down a lot. We're going to overshoot, which is perfectly fine. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the easy way. How's that for maneuverability, people? Come on, get your speed back up. You're stalling out. Whoa, 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 whoa. I need to turn off the steering on the rear. We only did a backflip at the end of the runway, came back, straightened ourselves out, and landed. Ain't no big deal. Anyway, if any craft were my Porsche, this would be my Porsche. That's my sports car. And if you guys are liking what you're seeing so far, don't forget to follow if you haven't already. Oh, you can't pull that with a larger craft. There's no way something of high mass is going to pull that trick. It will either fall apart and break up while it's flipping, or the inertia will just keep it going in the wrong direction. And we got some badges for our Kerbals for that. G-Force version 8. Awarded for at least 8 Gs for 3 or more seconds. Or is it minutes? I don't know. Mach 3, awarded for flying horizontally at Mach 3 below 30,000 meters in Kerbin's atmosphere. So we got some stunt flying ribbon. Neat. Right, so missions. Let's see. We need to do atmospheric surveys of Duna. Which means we probably need to adapt the probe design. Be a little bit more powerful than its current incarnation while keeping the delta V's extremely low, or the delta V extremely high, and fuel expense extremely. So we need to go yank our rover and update it. I wonder if I got a copy of it in space plane here. I can see. Where are you? Visual rover. Spider? Where are you, Spider? Spider. Spider's not in there, so we'll have to pull it from here. Alright, we can exit now. We don't actually need to save the telemetry for the A1 probe and satellite combo because that's just the delivery system. It is already saved. So what we're going to do, we got some new really high efficiency engine. I want to see how we can fit that out on this Mars rover design that I have. If we can make it last even longer than it already lasts. Right now it uses twitches. Twitches have a much less efficient rate of consumption than our new engine. I already got the atmosphere sensors on there. We don't have to worry about those. So we're already spec'd to the mission. What we need to do, though, is be able to get it into 11,000 feet in the atmosphere and then have it be able to safely return somehow. Butter. By the way, if you guys ever want to see a particular craft in my list that you see that looks interesting, just ask. I'll be more than happy to load it up for you. Okay, where did they put the spider? Probably all the way through the roof. Anybody know how to reset the craft? Good grief. I'll have to lower in the VAB and come back in here. I know how we can fix this problem. I've got the outdoor mod. Now I can see it. Where are you? Oh, you're out here somewhere. There you are. mod just saved my butt. Gotta love outdoor construction. Alright, so let's grab this thing and bring it down to the ground where it belongs. Not below it, just to it. Alright, good. This thing isn't going to be anything super huge, so not going to bother. Alright, so that's our. Let me grab that. Yes, we're going to stick this thing on the end of this rover, and it's going to work just fine, everyone. Perfect model craft right there. The flying, oh my god, what is that engine that will fire for all of 0.1 seconds before going out? I don't get smaller. Perfect. Okay, so we now have the cryoplasma engine on the back, or the hybrid plasma engine on the back of the craft. Let's shift these gears just back slightly. Well, that was very freaky. Did not expect it to pop out like that. Alright, the other thing I want to do is, since we need this thing to go in atmosphere, well, first off we need to rotate it, because obviously it's still geared towards the VAB. There's the hex indicator. Alright, that's a more proper orientation. So we're going to need a few flat control surfaces, and the reason for that is, well, no, it's on its belly actually. There we go. Now it's right side up. And the reason we need it to fly is because we got to get atmospheric sensor readings well above the planet's surface. It's got monopropellant. No, more liquid fuel and oxygen. Okay. So flat control surfaces. And we need really tiny ones. Too big. Way too big. I have to make these ourselves. That may work. We got improved solar panels, so we can get rid of those. But those may be too big. You stick with a 2x3. That's for when it's in space rather than on the ground. Alrighty now. This needs to start into the hybrid plasma state. Start with the gear deployed for the runway. Disable steering on the rear. Enable steering on the front. And now you see why I call it the spider. You currently have 4-axis flat controls. Centered right around the center of gravity, which is good. You can fly pretty nimbly. The question is, will it reach 11,000? And given that Kerbin has a thicker atmosphere than Duna's, this will be a really good test. First thing, let's fix this before I deploy the chutes on launch. A Delta V. That's promising. I think we're going to have to take it off the end of the runway though to get into the air. Oh, it's not got enough power. Oh, I know what the problem is. We don't have any megawatts on here. This thing requires megawatts for power. So it's just burning through the energy and then cutting out. No time flat. So we have to put a new capacitor on board, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll need a megawatt capacitor. Then afterwards, we'll try it again. Alright, the other thing we need is a little bit of thrust. RCS. And since we're only using liquid fuel and oxygen on board, we're going to use verniers. Six on the front, between all the gear. 6 on the rear behind those gear. That should allow us to kick it up off the ground so that the aerodynamics can take control. And then this 90 megawatt super, well actually we need the hybrid capacitor, so we use this one. This is for energy, so we don't want to have that hit the ground ever for any reason. Not that we want most of the crap to. Just slide it right in here. And why did it rotate the body? Let's see how much megawatts we have left now. 11.25, that should be plenty. We can always put out our panels and charge up when we do. So I think I want to put a couple of those super panels on here too. Yeah, they'll fit just over the parachutes here. They'll open that way and be facing up whenever we stop the craft to charge it. And that'll allow it to fuel the recharge megawatts slowly, but it will happen. This thing is designed to survive some pretty high ground speeds. It can do up to, I think, 50 meters per second on a pretty hilly surface without too much trouble. Especially now that we got the RCS controlled on there, it should help even more. Ideally, you want to minimize the use of the RCS because those burn ears are going to be way less efficient than hybrid plasma. I forgot to shoot. Well, since this is a test, I'm just going to cut them. Gotta fix the staging for the new engine. Alright, let's try this thing out now. So if you really want to get it moving, use this closed cycle state. It'll burn through fuel like crazy, but it'll at least get you going. That may cost us way more fuel than we could afford to lose. At the same time, our lift and velocity do not appear to be sufficient to fly. A lot of versions of this probe had no problem, but we've got a lot more on it than we did originally. Not going to make it. Yes, I'm going to try to land the missile. Because why not? Inducing drag too early by having the gear out. Not going to make the runway, but I might make the ground. Stress failure on the parts in the middle, I'm betting. Game is bouncing. Either means it failed or it's going to bounce a lot. Boom, there goes the explosion. Let's see where our point of failure was. I almost landed it. Just couldn't get the vertical speed low enough. Fuel tank smashed. It buckled, just like I thought. Yep, booms, mama, booms for you. Need a way to increase the fuel carrying capacity without necessarily increasing the girth or size of the craft. That's going to be a unique challenge. One of the things we can do is we can reduce the overall weight of the craft. This thing has such low clearance, we can probably, I don't know, does anybody know if antennas are obstructed by craft bodies? Go down to one experiment. See if I can make the tiniest surface, tiniest wings in the world. Why did I grab the engine? I mean to grab the. Need something slightly bigger than that. I don't need that many for. If that makes any bearing on the ability of this thing to turn. Just a reminder to those of you who are following right now, if you're liking anything that you're seeing, don't forget to follow. Most of these crafts will eventually be uploaded to my KerbalX profile online, so if you want to use these, you should have access to them soon. Ah, good grief. I always forget to stage those shoots. Come on, Kerbals, you can do it. We're about 2 hours into the program. It's starting to feel the memory leak just slightly. You can see by its willingness to put the camera into the middle of the craft for some weird reason. Alright, let's go ahead and fix this right quick so it doesn't happen again. By the way, we now have Interstellar Adventure installed, so we now have our 4 stars back in the sky that we'll eventually be able to visit once we get higher engine tech. Really looking forward to visiting those new systems. Welcome aboard, Edible Rubber. On 11,000 meters. Probe high altitude capability confirmed. Although it can only do it for one zone. And the problem with Duna is that mission has two. Just checking to see how far this thing will go before its engine's cut out. Do we have any new science on board I haven't done yet? I don't think so, but just double checking. Nope, all done for Kerbin. We might as well grab those. We can recover this craft and get the last little dregs of science. Actually, I can transmit those to the new labs. The Kerbal Observatory. If you're wondering why it's not tapping the electrical charge out, we have a megajoule power storage on board. That's our megajoule capacitor right here. This thing actually flies pretty nicely. I don't think we can get back to the Space Center though. We can try. All our forward momentum is directed in the other direction, away from the center. Huh. I didn't know that was happening, Rubber. Kind of weird. I'll have to check Nightbot settings on that. I turned off its cap filters. It glides like a dream. I like this design. It doesn't have the range it's needing for what it needs to do. Need a Duna temperature probe that can go for extreme distance. This is a good start though. But I think we'll save that mission for when we have better equipment. And we call this the quick way to the ground. I need another set of chutes on here. Falling too hard. Over 8 meters per second, something's going to break. That thing shattered all to pieces. Hey, our probe core is still intact along with the science, though, which is really all that matters. Splashy, splashy. So the good news is we got some science out of that test, and it wasn't even a real mission. The bad news is we haven't got a probe suitable to the task yet, so we're going to have to wait. We'll have to go on to the next mission. Now, we've got a lot of orbit station missions, so there's a good possibility we'll be putting another Druk station up around Moon or Minmus. See what's next in the list. Assuming the memory leak will allow us to load. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so next in the list is take a surface sample. Observational surveys of the moon. I've got an idea for this one. So that just needs a single crew pod with a crewman capable of doing the survey mission as well as the crew reports. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use a large Mark I LOX tank. We use a hybrid plasma engine with landing legs, a couple solar panels, maybe a probe core for a backup. That should go for days. All we have to do is get it to the moon. So we'll have a delivery vehicle for it, capable of getting it to moon orbit, and then it'll be able to descend, do its job, and then return home if needed. So something like this. Where is that nose cap parachute? Here it is. That'll get the Kerbal home. We'll get the Kerbal basic communications. Could probably put a heat shield under here just to be on the safe side. Long tank. Which will need power. because it's going to be using the super hybrid. It's also going to need a lot of panels. Well, not a lot, just enough to be a megajoule or megajoule type energy. Needs to be hybrid plasma. Right, there we go. Downscale it. Not that far. Go at least 216 thrust. $50 enclosed cycle, and let's set body to min. Oh yeah, that's plenty of. You can maneuver for days on that. Since we're using LOX, we'll use Vernier thruster RCS. Basic attitude control for SAS. HXA landing gear. I don't know if these can be resized, though. That's the problem. Doesn't look like they can. If they cannot be resized, we'll use smaller landing gear. Something that can give it a low center of gravity. That looks nice and efficient. And I just want to do a shout out right quick to all the viewers in channel: BioRoots, Doc Andy, Fay Gwent, Max Q, Sunny. Thanks for joining me this evening. Let's see if any of the delivery systems will pack with this too well. So I'm going to show you guys a trick to resolve an issue with not having an engine that has a structural component to allow you to dock it to a bearing. First off, you're going to use a decoupler, a very small decoupler. You're only going to need exactly one. You're going to look for a small beam or structural element. Really tiny. Like this. Connected directly to that. Now, since this is going to come right off, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. And what we're basically trying to do is get it to maneuver it under the craft. It has to be fairly straight towards the center of mass. So once you have it lined up, hey Space Cat, he's wanting attention again. So you line it up like this. Go back to structural, and you grab a radial attachment point. You take out a radial attachment point, and basically what you're doing is you're building a custom interface. Yes, I know you're hard done by, Space Cat. Crazy little kid. Pay attention to me, please. Getting the alignment as straight as possible on the center of mass for this adapter port is critical. If it's off even slightly, you can have your payload way off target. I'm not sure it's going to let me line that up. I think that's as fast as we're going to get. Now that we've done that, we can take the delivery system. How did that happen? And there we go. So 8 has plenty of delta V. Stage 7 separators. Those don't count. Stage 5 has 3045. I think we should have plenty to get to the moon. We should be good on this. Now what's going to happen is you probably want to stage that before you stage this. I want to stage those separately to make sure they don't cause collisions. Let's give it a try, see how well it works. This is a brand new craft. This could go any number of ways. Let's see if we send a pilot. Hoping we send a pilot. Not want to reload to space dock and grab a pilot. I think we might be out of pilots because I sent the last one up on a lab. Find out. And this loads. Kitty cat. Let's see. Space cat. Begging for attention again. Silly eclipse. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, on August the 21st of 2017, I will actually be in the area of totality for the passing solar eclipse. I wanted you guys to know in advance that I actually intend to try to stream it that day. I need to get the proper filters. Yeah, I like potatoes too. Alright, pilot. Yay, pilot. Okay, so it loaded the right Kerbal type. We do not have to revert. So, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And we have the first liftoff of the Moon Minmus Surveyor. This is not a science collecting mission. This purely is dedicated to the task. We're going to go, land in our landing zone, collect our data, and return. Boosters separated cleanly. Stage 1 orange tank separated cleanly. Jettisoning arrow shell. Maneuvering to make orbit. We'll wait for apoapsis and finish our burn. And we need to find a location of Moon. By the way, we have 4 stars, ladies and gentlemen. Haven't noticed that. Part of Interstellar Adventures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cannot wait to get the technology to build ships that'll travel out to them. And then do landings on planets we have never seen before in Kerbals. Unless you watch somebody else stream Interstellar or played Interstellar yourself. One of them is a neutron star. I don't know if it actually has planets around. I think it has 1. The awkward load connector up here is causing some stability issues due to the imbalance, where it's not in perfect alignment, but it's not been anything serious so far. And that'll be over as soon as we jettison the orange tank. Alright, we have an orbit. So next question is, where is Moon? Well, what do you know? Moon is already in position for a proper rendezvous without even having to time warp. Talk about good luck. We'll just go around just slightly. Continue our burn on our orange tank. Can't remember if I did not action group to tall up the solar cell, so we'll go ahead and do those now. That tank has some oomph to it. We're off by, yep, less than a degree. Excellent. Very, very smooth ascent. We're going to plot for a 20,000 kilometer, or 20,000 kilometer, no, 20,000 meter intercept. I think we're done with the tank. Nope, just a little bit of lag in the game. Alright, turning on RCS. RCS doesn't have any forward or back control, so we're going to have to just love tap it. And that is good enough for me. I don't know what the calculations are doing right now. I'm not moving. That's some weird behavior going on right there. We are not under acceleration. Alright, solar panels are now fully deployed. We'll add an alarm for SOI change and simply accelerate time. That'll hopefully neutralize the whole weirdness we have going on with the multiple conics. Alright, so next question is, where is landing zone number 1? We're going to F5 because Kerbal was behaving a little stuttery. That usually means that we're about to have a Menli crash sometime in the near future. Alright, so there's our LZ. It's all the way on the other side of the planet. You'll activate navigation. Now they're all real close to each other, so the good news is we won't have to go very far to get them. We have very fractional fuel left in this tank, and we have consumed none in our original. We're in good shape right now. We'll come around close to periapsis, do a burn in order to circularize the orbit, and then try to angle down on that LZ. Actually, we should probably start burning about right here to get to the LZ. We need to burn anti-normal. Alright, so anti-normal is going to be our 180. Good morning, everyone joining the stream right now. We are now up to 11 viewers. Thank you guys for being here with us this time. Hope you enjoy the show. We are currently doing a mission to do surveys of the moon. Now, one of the things I can do to help refine my orbit is bring up ScanSat. First off, we have to have the right celestial body. It's rendering Kerbin right now. And what we're going to do is look for the marker for the mission and zoom in on it so that we can see our craft approach the landing zone. I believe that's the landing zone right there, if I'm not mistaken. We want to have a draw. Yep, there's all. See all the. There's the clustered points right in there. Now we can remove the big map. We don't actually need it. We only need the small one. And we can get out of map mode here, go to craft mode view. Alright, now that we're in craft mode view, we're going to toss up our navigation system on our display. And find the target at. Oh, we didn't set a target yet? Fix that. Oh, navigation's up. That's right. Can't really do a target. Where the heck is Mun at? There's Mun. So once we get close to our periapsis, I'm talking about within 100,000 meters, we can start a reverse burn and then begin correcting for the orbit. And this will actually cause our orbit to appear on the map. And once our orbit appears on the map, we will be able to get it to we'll be able to get it to display the across the grid here. Okay, now we've got an orbit. Now that we have an orbit, whenever we get this to actually cross over this, it'll appear on the map as blue dots. Now, we're heading north again. We need to head more eastward. We're going to burn anti-normal again to give us southward momentum. Once again, adjust the turn of the orbit. Now, if we watch over here, once we start getting close, as the line passes over this grid, we should see the orbital bands passing through this. I have to zoom out a little bit. See how close we are. Okay, we are done with our orange tank, so we're going to go ahead and jettison that. This is the part where it gets a little tricky and we may have a risk of weird collisions because the way I have set this craft up. So everybody cross your fingers if physics doesn't make it go boom. Okay, so orange tank, clean away. And staging utility, clean away. Gear now out. Getting ready for deployment for landing. There they are. There's the bands. We're moving so fast that they're not very tightly grouped. So we are on target. It went literally right through. That blue dot literally went straight through the landing zone. So we are definitely on target. Our craft should appear from this corner. Slowly start going east when we get over the LZ. We'll be shooting off that way. Alright, we are at periapsis, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this orbit now so that we can start seeing our navigation properly on the map. First thing we got to do is turn our engine on. And we're using the highly efficient closed cycle plasma, or hybrid plasma. I could literally burn for 3,800 delta V with 11,000 minutes of burn time. Or 11 minutes of burn time. 11,000 would be nicer, but I don't have that much. I can dream, I suppose. So we're slowly killing our orbital velocity. As we do that, this orbit's going to tighten, and these little blue beads, you're going to see more of them. They're going to start grouping together. And then you're going to see the brown ones, which is the orbit on the other side of the planet. So the blade of the orbit, the plane of the orbit, is literally cutting through this sector right through there. Now our apoapsis is directly above our landing zone. We're going to fix that slightly. We don't want it to be quite directly above, just close. Here we come. There's our craft coming out from the bottom left-hand corner. Now the blue dots are going to close on the landing zone. Now we've got some markers nearby, one large crater to the right, one small one to the left, and two double craters to the southwest. So let's find those markers. Okay, I got a double crater right here. And I think that's the larger one. We need to be landing right in that zone right there. So now we need to kill our forward momentum and guide the prograde path down directly towards where we want to land. Yep, there's the smaller crater, there's the larger crater, there's the doubles. So our LZ is literally right there. Forward momentum is dropping. We don't want it to drop too much though. We're not quite over it yet. We can free fall some. See how the blue dots just barely go past the landing zone? Now when I'm actually over the landing zone, directly atop it, I'm going to do a full counter burn and stop our forward momentum altogether and come straight down. Now keep in mind, I'm on the easy maneuver mode of this engine. It has two modes. It can be toggled to a much higher burn power. Should not be necessary though. Close cycle. This particular design should never need to use the closed cycle mode because the thrust efficiency is so high and the TWR is so high on the moon. Okay, we are rapidly approaching our exact landing point, so I'm going to zoom in some more on it. First one's going to be right there. We're almost on top of it. Might have overshot it just slightly. I can correct for that though. We should be close enough to still collect though. That's the important thing. Go back just a little bit though. We're coming down at 182 meters per second at 5,000 up. We have exactly pegged our landing zone where we want it to be. Down to 93% accuracy on the map. Now it's just a matter of surviving the fall. We're going to do a super hot burn here to get us down to a tolerable landing speed. Touchdown very shortly. Preparing to cut throttle. There's the ground. We have touchdown, cutting throttle. Welcome to Mun with 2,500 something Delta V still remaining. Now, what is the mission task here? Surface sample. I should probably brought a extra space for some science, because apparently we don't have a surface sample. That didn't complete the mission. This must be the one where we need an EVA then. Check our power situation. We could do it with a mild recharge. Now my question is, why is it not saying that we are... Are we horribly far off? Doesn't look like it. This one's in a precarious spot. It looks like it's on a crater wall. Area D09R is what that one's labeled. We have other things to do on Moon? These are the only waypoints up here. Inmus, portal station, science data, rescue. I could probably send this back to rescue that one Kerbal on the surface with a probe core. Doris, Mimmus, Tractor. This is the only one. What are these site names? Let's see if we can zoom in and see. This one is... These don't correspond to... Oh, Gamma. That's... Okay. I see. Beta. So we're at Beta. Or near Beta. Beta require the surface sample. We just took a surface sample. Okay, so we must not be close enough to Beta. Beta is almost directly south of us. Go ahead and get that mini-map back up. Just in case we don't have it set, we'll make it target. Fortunately, it doesn't actually act as a target, which is a pain in the butt. We're going to lean left on takeoff. Left and forward. Okay, no, wrong way. Wrong way. Oops. Very nice river. Alright, now we need to head directly west. I got my east and my west mixed up. There's the navigator flashing at the bottom now. So we better up the power. We're going to hit. Alright, that'll give us some maneuvering room. Wow, we just went full circle around this thing. I think it just told me I'm in the zone, but man, we're going to make sure that. Alright, now we just got to re-land. And touchdown again. Setting engine. Waiting for craft stabilization. Alright, now we should be right on target. This is beta. What do they want at beta? Oh, surface sample on the surface at beta. You literally have to be on the surface. Well, that's going to be a little bit of fun. We are going to close this solar panel up so I do not accidentally collide with it and break it. That would truly suck. And that totally would have happened. Alright, so now we're on the surface. At the surface, and that cleared it. Excellent. Okay. And although these other landing zones are not too far away, I'm still going to manually travel to them. Okay, sorry, set navigation for that one. It will be to our northeast. Actually, how far can these guys jump? Maybe I can save myself the hassle of having to land it twice. Yeah, hitting your own craft, smashing your own windows out. All the rage, man, all the rage. I should be able to get both of those without too much trouble. I should have enough to get back to the ship, if not very close to it. Maybe not. We've used one full unit of fuel out of 5. We can do it. Ah, this one was the EVA. Second task complete. Huh, I'm already in the area where I can do it. I don't need to go any further. It's a good thing Kerbals are so sturdy, you know? And mission complete. And there's the boat. Now, if only they had a first-person view for the Kerbals, so that you don't have to try looking through their giant bubble heads. Alright, mission complete. Time to go home. But before we do that, we need a charge. Actually, we might be able to charge in orbit. Where's Kerbin? Kerbin is directly above us. We could literally fire straight up, slightly north, and go straight towards retrograde away from them. Positioning craft for launch. We want a 10-degree north lean. That should be good. Hey, there's the Mother World in the background. Kerbin Rise. It's got the Demon Star behind it too. Need more of a north lane, so let's nose down some. But what we're trying to do is get the apoapsis to go directly back along the path of the retrograde orbit of Kerbin. north and slightly west. Alright, so our apparatus is picking up nicely. We're still good on fuel and power. Although once the solar cells get hit by the sun, it's not going to be a problem with the power at all anymore. You just got to clear the horizon and moon here. We're easily going to do already with this apoapsis at where it's at. So we're pretty much guaranteed an escape at this point. Almost had an escape. An escape confirmed, watching Periapsis at Kerbin. Alright, we are good for return. Now we're going to need some power in order to successfully halt the re-entry velocity. Huh, we just saw the shadow of the moon go around Kerbin. Kind of cool. Saw the Umbra pass over. Right, we are rapidly approaching Kerbin. Looks like we might be having a dark side re-entry, but I might be able to tweak that just slightly. Also, our power is full, so we can retract these. Hey, Rigel Point. Welcome aboard. We're just returning from a survey mission to Mun. Alright, we definitely have re-entry. We're going to now jettison the last boost stage. Keep our self-calibrated for retrograde and accelerate time. Oh, I forgot to set the chute settings. Don't want that to go off until 0.6. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the stream and you haven't already followed, feel free to do so. I stream every night around 2 a.m. Eastern Time, usually around 6 a.m. This will be our last mission for tonight. I'll be concluding the stream after this, once we do our recovery. But we still got about 30 minutes of broadcast time remaining. Should have plenty of ablator. Yeah, we're good. As long as we don't land on a mountain, this should be a relatively easy recovery. And knowing my luck, we will hit a mountain. Crap. This isn't looking good, folks. Oh, good grief. Ah! No mountain, no mountain, no mountain, no cliffside, no cliffside. We are good on chute deployment. You're good on full chute deployment. We are going to be good for a safe recovery as long as this slope does not kill us. I don't think it's bad enough to cause a problem. We should be okay. That was close, though. That was a cliff face within, I'd say, another 100 meters of us. We got lucky. Recover craft. Hail the conquering hero. Very impressed with that survey craft. Extremely efficient. Very easily able to do its mission. That's without gravity burns or optimizations. Ooh, we picked up quite a bit of science on that trip too from that surface sample. Jongi Kerman now has Research 4 ribbon, Moon Surface EVA ribbon for taking footsteps on the moon, and 10% solid fuel booster ribbon, which is for launching with a total ship mass greater than 10% of solid rocket fuel. We will recover these few craft debris that were shed from the orbit of that vehicle. It's just a couple of solid rocket boosters laying out on the range. What do we want? Mark 5 cockpit? That's a huge cockpit. If only at 3 Kerbal capacity, what? I could really use that blunt nose cone Mark 3 body. That smell works. Oh yeah, I've been needing the Clampatron bad. Take that. Alright, so we advanced some science tonight. We got one of our missions complete. Let's see what's now new and available in the Mission Control Lab. More tourist missions. We may be due for another tourist run soon. That's, I think, about 7 tourists now that we have to take up and about. Atmospheric survey of the Eve. Wow. That one could be challenging. I'll have to think of the solutions to that one later. Alright, folks. So that was it for the stream for tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching as I completed the missions there, and we worked on some aircraft earlier and checked on some engines to see how they were performing after some interstellar updates. We got our stars back, all 4 of them. Again, I'll be resuming again tonight at 2 a.m. If you want to drop by, we'll be picking up from here. And I think the next mission on the list is orbiting a new... Yeah. Actually, we'll be exploring Minmus. So that'll be our next mission. So we will be taking that same probe probably back to Minmus to land near the polar lab and swap crew. And that should complete these 2. Alright, have a good night all. Again, don't forget to follow if you really enjoyed what you're watching.